Hi everyone, welcome to this week's, the first of this week's lessons. We're going to start on angles. So today we're talking about complementary and supplementary angles. The first video is going to be talking about complementary angles. So we're going to define that first. Complementary angle is the sum of the measure of two angles. So I want to emphasize this. It says two angles is 90 degrees. So the sum means it adds, so the two angles have to add to be 90 degrees. Then the two angles are complementary. So we have a couple of examples for you. So the first angle here is 45, and the second angle is 45. And we know that 45 plus 45 equals 90. So angle J and angle A are complementary. Okay, so there's our definition there. Oh, I put 9. Geez, 90. There we go. So let's go to the second example here. Just going to make it a little bit bigger and slide over just a little bit. Here we go. So I know that 30 plus 60, so 30 degrees plus 60 degrees equals 90 degrees. So I know that the two angles are complementary. So the other thing I want to talk about on this particular example is notice that the two examples are different. Notice that these two angles, I'm going to write this out for you, angle QRS, which is this angle here, QRS, and angle TRS, so that would be angle TRS. They share a side. Okay, so those two angles share a side, so they are also adjacent. And we are going to define this, define the word adjacent in the next lesson, 11.2, but I just want to kind of talk about it today. So if the angles share a side, they're called adjacent. And if they don't, like in the first example over here, they're just complementary. So not only is these two angles complementary, but they're also adjacent. So just a little FYI there for you guys. And then we're going to go to some non-examples. So I have some non-examples here also. So we know that 20 degrees plus 45 degrees equals 65 degrees, which does not equal 90. So they're not complementary. So not complementary. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to be adding angles together to see if they equal 90 degrees. Not too bad, right? So the next one, how many angles? Look, I have 30 degrees plus 30 degrees plus 30 degrees. Yeah, that equals 90, but how many angles is that? That's 3 angles. And my definition, remember, my definition says 2 angles that add up to be 90. So 3 does not work. And then if I only add 2 together, these 2 equal 60 and these 2 equal 60. So there's they're not complementary. Okay, so 2 angles. Sorry, it's a long word. Not complementary. So it can only be 2 angles that add up to 90, and they can be touching and they don't have to be touching. Either way, it makes them complementary. So we're going to go on to the next little section here, and it just says determine whether the 2 angles are complementary. That's all we have to do. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to tell you if they're complementary or not, or you guys are going to tell me, or we're going to help each other, whichever way we want to talk about it. So we have a set of 3 angles here, 3 sets of 2 angles, so sorry, and we just want to decide if they're complementary. Well, how do we do that? Well, we are going to add them together. We're going to take their measures and add them together, and if they equal 90, they're complementary, and if they don't equal 90, they're not a complementary. That's it. That's all there is to this. So my first set is here, so I'll number that number 1. And all I'm going to do is take the two numbers, and I'm going to add them together and see if they equal 90 degrees. Well, let's see. So I'm going to take 51 degrees plus 29 degrees and add that together. Well, 9 plus 1 is 10, carry the 1, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's 80 degrees. So is that complementary? No, not complementary. Okay, so no. So the next one, we already know because we've done this one already before. This one's 45 degrees plus 45 degrees, right, is 90 degrees. So this one is yes, it is complementary. And then the next one, the next set, well, what does this little measure here, what does this little square right here say? What does this little symbol mean? Well, the little box in the middle means that it's 90 degrees. So I have 90 degrees plus 90 degrees. Well, does that equal 90 degrees? Well, no, that equals 180. So are these complementary? No, because it's over 90 degrees. The sum total is over 90 degrees. So not too bad to tell how they, if they're complementary or not. Okay, so we have one more little section here, kind of show you how to do the math portion of it. If I'm given one angle, how do I find the other angle? That's what this says. It says one angle of a pair of complementary angles, so we know they're complementary, which means we know that they add up to be 90 degrees, is given. What is the measure of the other? So how do I find the other angle? So this one, I know that they're complementary because it says so right here. They're complementary. So how do I find the other angle? So I'm going to this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 90 since I know they're complementary, and I'm going to minus 45. And put that in your calculator. 90 minus 45 is 45 degrees. And that's it. Okay? Pretty simple. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to do this next one. So I'm going to take 90 degrees and I'm going to minus 82 degrees. And 90 minus 82 is 8 degrees. Okay? And again, for the last one, 90 degrees minus 23 degrees. I'm actually going to have to use my calculator, I think. 90 minus 23 is 67 degrees. And that's all there is to this part. Okay, so if it's just one number, it's fairly easy. So now instead of having a number, they're going to give me a picture. So I'm going to go off a picture this time. So it just says, I want to just point out really quick, the directions just say solve for x. So I'm just going to solve. So here's my picture. I'm going to give myself some room to write here. And it also tells me right here, because I have the little 90-degree box, that those two angles, that this angle and this angle equals 90 degrees. So I can say x plus 32 equals 90 degrees. So this angle plus this angle equals 90. Okay, so now I have an equation. I'm just going to solve it. So subtract 32. Kind of like, this looks exactly like what we did up here, right? Not too bad. So 90 minus 32 is 59. So x is going to equal 59 degrees. In this case, because x is just here, right here, and it's x by itself, it is 59 degrees. So this angle equals 59 degrees. Okay, so now let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this time, look, when I solve for x this time, x has to be multiplied by something to give me my degree. So I'm solving for x, but I'm not actually finding the angle this time because they didn't ask me to do that. They just asked me to solve for x. So here we go. I have 5x plus 4x, right? This angle plus this angle equals 90 degrees. Okay? Equals 90 degrees. So that means that 9x equals 90. Divide by 9. X equals 10. So if x equals 10, and I actually want to find out what the angle is, I would substitute x into here. So this is 5 times x degrees. So 5 times x, this would be 50 degrees. And 4 times x would be 40 degrees. And that's how I'd find my angles. If I needed to, I'd just substitute it back in to the value for x and then solve for each one of them. So let's do, I think this is, oh no, we got a couple more. Okay, couldn't remember. So here we go. We're going to do the same thing, right? I have this angle, and I know that they equal 90 because it's a 90-degree angle. So I know that 2x plus 5x plus 6 equals 90. And they always equal 90 because I have my 90-degree sign there. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. So 2x plus 5x is 7x. Oh, that is not an x. Let me fix that. Try this again. 7x plus 6 equals 90. Now, how do I solve for x? Well, I subtract 6. Great. So I get 7x equals 84. Divide by 7. And x is going to equal, I believe it's 12, but let's just check to make sure. 84 divided by 7, yep, is 12. And now to find my angle measures how much the angle is. I know that the directions didn't tell me to find it, but some directions will. They'll say solve for x and then find the measure of the angle. So let's just go ahead and do it so you know what we're doing. So for this angle, I'm going to do 2 times 12, which equals 24 degrees. And for this angle, I'm going to do 5 times 12 plus 6. Well, 5 times 12 is 60, plus 6 is 66 degrees. And then if you want to check it, I can say 66 plus 24. Well, that should add up to be 90, right? So that's a 0, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 90 degrees. So that's correct. We did our math correct. So there's a way to check it, because once I substitute those values in and get a total a degree, my degree should still add up to be 90, because it is a 90-degree angle. Okay. 2 more problems. This one's very similar to the one we just got done. I have 2 angles. Oops. 2 angles. And even though it doesn't give me the right angle sign, we're assuming that it's a right angle in this particular case. Sometimes we can't always, but we are in this case. We're assuming that if it looks like a right angle, it is. So I've got 3x plus 12 equals 90. So combine my like terms. 3x plus 3x is 6x plus 12 equals 90. Subtract 12. 6x equals 78, I want to say. 90 minus 12. 78, great. Divide by 6. And x is going to equal, and I said 78 and I wrote 76. See? Working ahead of my brain's working ahead of my pen here. So 78 divided by 6 is going to be 13. So x equals 13. And then I can plug it in and find out the values of my angle if I needed to. So just make sure, we're not gonna do that now. I just wanted to make sure that you know how to do that if the directions ask you to do that. So make sure you're reading the directions in full. So we're gonna go ahead and go on to the last problem on this video before you go work on some problems, and then we're going to come back and talk about supplementary angles. So I have 2 angles here and here, and they look like they're complementary, so they're going to add up to 90. So I have 3x plus 12 plus 2x minus 7 equals 90. So I'm going to combine my like terms. So 3x plus 2x is 5x, and 12 minus 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5, so that's plus 5, equals 90. Subtract 5, and I get 5x equals 85. Divide by 5, and x is going to equal, I want to say 17, but let's just check. 85 divided by 5, yep, 17. And there is your answer, you guys. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and work on some problems, and then we will come back and talk about supplementary angles, and I will see you guys in a few moments. Thanks. Bye.